we do some Arvel listening to. See, I disagree with Arvel there because he thinks that one's subjective unitary positioning, as it's a result of being able to utilize language, is preferenced like ubiquitously along what I'd say all humans, but all language speaking humans. Being as it seems like the trait that defines human or AI, and so I think that the unity that an individual finds in their inner subjective or their subjective states can take on like certain geometric patternings if somebody's analyzing their relationship to the language, but the language is still the import and export medium for all ideas that he himself is holding on to, including the idea that there's a Unitarian center, like a common Unitarian center. That's why I disagree with him, because I think that center is outside of the individual in the social network, if you will, of language speakers. And I'm alone, no one's speaking to me, I'm speaking. So I'm speaking out, but I'm speaking a public language that you guys have inherited, the one that's hearing me. And so the center locus of my thoughts, you can ornate it off of the hardware of the body. I guess you can make that argument, but theologically, I think it's a misnomer to consider God as sourced from this sense of one's inner relationship to the phenomena of meaning. When I think the phenomena is ex parte the human, I mean, you have to have a human, but ex parte any particular human, you just have to have a common language speaker. Okay, that's what I think there. So I would displace his center outward, in other words. In that case, okay, here we go. But then again, new guy or Yeah. Later on, Jane denied. That. And then the guy keeps bringing up butts through this whole video. Crazy, man. He's trying to close his argument. Well, and like it just seems like a blatant defaming of his cosmology, of Arvel's cosmology, relative to how it is he's piecing through geometries and considering the idea of the history of religion and mixing it into the orthodoxy of the text, which Jay then like defers to and then attempts to be the author of, meaning that variants in Catholic theological practices he believes are invariant, I think. Hence, I think he thinks there's a discrete Catholic and that Catholics have a monopoly on what actual Christendom is because of the shape of the orthodoxy, but it is exactly the shape of the orthodoxy which the Baptists moved from. That meaning that the Baptists were trying to eclipse and expand and say, hey, no, we all have this relationship with God. It's not merely through priests, cardinals, and pope, right? Like they're feeling it, sort of that something to that effect. And so why is Jay not Baptist and says Catholic? Well, he likes the Orthodox forms. Well, the Orthodox forms, by being forms, have some structure, and by having that structure, could be said to be numbered. You know, some people say, "Oh, 66 books in the Bible." You know, they're trying to make they both make a point of stating it, and it seems as if there's can be interpreted often a meta meaning that they're pointing to the fact that there's 66, as if 66 has itself a significance that lies outside of the Bible that somehow is informed by the fact of that numeral. Anyway, so that's why I don't like Judy Dyer. And then, I mean, he slammed the same point I did, kind of about the oneness, because Arvel's sense of God comes, I think, from an internal emotional state, a self-reflective, but also probably intellectual, self-intellectual analysis state. Um, but I think a lot of that is because he believes that the meaning making structure that he reads as the telos of the theos, or just the theos, is from the inside. It's indicative of the spirit. The words that describe the spirit are indicative of the spirit. The spirit is something embedded within the individual that as opposed to presuming that your skin is your spirit as much as all of the organisms, as much as the space that you inhabit, as much as all of everything that you're able to change and all that mirrors and refracts back to you. Right? But it's all of those things. Arnold's not unattentive to them. It's just how he's reduced the meaning seems in it's not in cahoots with a certain type of, I guess, adherence to my notions of language, right? Adhering that the meaning is found within the language and that it's public and that it's not private and it's not private to the individual. And that, like Wittgenstein's private language argument is specific in that it's basically its argument is that there is none, not that it's just merely an exhaustive internal codex, right? Kind of like my Velcro, right? My doormat that says Doxa Velcro. That's my own version of saying like doxaxic logic is belief logic, right? And then Velco, that's like welcome, but where the mat ends, so it's just Velco. And so Doxa Velco means in vampire, because vampire is the go-to weird language that might sound like that. It's Doxa Velco is I believe that you're welcome. Anyway, something like that. I like Dyer's argument. Alan Watts. There's Alan Watts. Oh, you know what are you gonna say about that? I don't know. Christ teach. Oh, in this Christianity. Anyway, I totally disagree with Jay Dyer at this point, but where I disagree with him, I'm just not going to say. I'm going to hang up the thing, even though it was another school defending Plato or another video defending Plato that I should have been listening to. Just kind of having the feeling I'm just done. You know what I mean? I'm just done. At least video recording it. So thanks, and and a bottle of rum. Let me get out of the way.